Hi Steve, great to meet up with you as always today and do some further work on your game. Just a quick recap on the key points that we covered so that you can give it some hammer in your week off practicing. First of all, we looked at your setup position. The weight was a little bit too far back, certainly wasn't forward enough, and the handle was a little bit too far back, resulting in a takeaway where the club is swept away quite low to the ground, so the ascent of the golf club is not quick enough. The wrists are not really loading early in the swing. The left shoulder is working level, affecting the eye tilts and the positioning in the centre of the shoulder turn very early in the swing. The effect then is at the top of the backswing, we're not into the lead leg enough. And then as the sequence starts in the downswing, we start to push up out of the ground before we've got back into it. And as a result, we're going to severely restrict or severely limit our ability to control the low point of the golf club. So really the key thing was to tidy up the setup and the feelings during the backswing. Now, one of the things that's noticeably improved this week was the straightening of the right leg on the way back. It does straighten a little bit too fast, but I'd rather have that than have the flex maintained. So I haven't got a major problem with it. You just got to keep thinking in terms of being a little bit more incremental and you're good to go. So what we're seeing here now on the second swing across is we're seeing the weight being pushed forward a little bit more via the hip girdle. So the feeling is that they're moving the weight 70% into the lead leg using the hips. This in turn, with the handle forward, is creating a quicker ascent of the golf club, slightly earlier setting of the wrist, a substantially improved top of the backswing position where we're much more loaded into that lead leg at the top, centre of the shoulder turn much more stable. It's no longer behind the golf ball, it's in a much more appropriate position over the top of the golf ball. Rather than creeping ever so slightly behind the golf ball. As a result, we now don't need to shift across quite as much, and we can see that as we change direction, the lead leg flexing a little bit more and the lead ankle getting out in front of that lead foot just a little bit more. So the lead knee getting out in front of the ankle just a little bit more. Producing a tighter impact position with the handle a little bit more forward than we had at the start of the session. So slightly improved impact position, a little bit more work into the ground. We've then got to suss out when to push out of the ground, and you were getting the hang of that towards the end of the session. A little bit of focus when you go out and play on where the club is hitting the ground, and I think that really simplifies everything to a level at which you can go and play some good golf with a clear head. A lot of the good work that you've done, you can then reap the benefits of. On the way through, we want to feel like we're tucking the hips under, so we just got the cane there to help with that. Releasing the head a little bit more as well so that the arms can be controlled. If we keep the head down, the closure on the club face is too dramatic. The arms are flung off the chest as the body release stops, and we find it difficult to control the arms in the through swing. That swing we're looking at there for me is one of the better swings you've made in the time that I've been working with you. I think you're nicely into your lead leg at the top. The lead knee gets out in front of the lead ankle. The radius of the swing is nice and tight. The attention here when it comes to the hitting of the ball is to strike the ground out in front of the golf ball. And then just try and see the ball leave the studio, which we don't do, but you can see the head is more free than it would normally be. The tilts in the neck are not quite as severe, etc., etc. Now, in regards to the down the line footage, one of the things that we're continuously seeing is this right leg not really regaining flexion. And we talked about that move from 4 to 5, how ideally I'd like to see a return to flexion. So we're talking about the graph during the backswing. We start flex forward, And from that forward flex position, we extend from P1 to P4. We should then regain flexion, P4 to P5. We're talking the lower body here. And then from P5 to the end, we should be extending to a greater degree. So we flex forward at setup, we extend, we return to flexion, and then we extend for longer during the downswing, during the hit of the ball. And what we're seeing here is a player who has extended, stays extended, and then extends even more. So there's no flexion going back in there. So 4 to 5, we need to clear up a little bit. And the drill we gave you was to swing to P4, stop, and then jump. And you can see what that's doing is to jump high from that position and generate some force, some vertical force. We've got to go into the ground so that we can come out of the ground. Pretty good jump. So from there, we're just adding a little bit of flexion. And that's what our graph, if you will, is lacking. So if you want to, put that again, the emphasis on the graph, set up, we'll flex forward, so that's our 0 point, if you will. We extend in the backswing, and then in this particular instance, from P4 to P5, we just stay extended. In this instance, we've been flexed forward at setup. We extend on the way back. And then this next piece here now, we go back into flexion. And that's what we need to try and add into our golf swing. Obviously it's emphasised in there because of the drill we were doing, but that's the sort of graph that we're looking for as opposed to the graph that we have on the left hand side. Any questions, feel free to give me a shout. I'll forward some dates and images across as per our conversation earlier regarding to some work in September. Good luck with it. Well done.